So today we're going to be fixing the UFC's welterweight division. Starting off with the first matchup I would make in the welterweight division, that is Gabriel Bonfirm taking on Randy Brown. Both guys are 4-1 in their last 5 fights. Randy Brown, in my opinion, should be on a 5-fight win streak. I thought he beat Brian Battle, and let's not forget Brian Battle missed weight for their matchup. Gabriel Bonfirm is just new to the UFC's welterweight rankings after beating Stephen Wonderboy Thompson in a fight that, if I'm going to be honest, I thought he lost. So I think this fight makes a lot of sense. Randy Brown deserves a crack at someone in the rankings, in my opinion, after that disgusting KO over Nicholas Dalby. I think this right here is a fight that makes sense. Next up, we have got Daniel Rodriguez taking on Colby Covington. Now, I know Gilbert Burns called for the Rodriguez matchup, but I don't think the UFC is going to do that. Instead, I think this is the direction the UFC will go. And you know how Colby will promote this fight. He will get up on stage in the ice gear, telling Daniel Rodriguez he's going to deport him. That's how this fight's going to be sold. I think Daniel Rodriguez would rather have this fight over the Gilbert Burns matchup because it's just a bigger fight. Colby Covington's a bigger name. This would probably end up on a pay-per-view card, in my opinion. It's an easy matchup for Colby Covington. Daniel Rodriguez, yes, has pretty decent boxing, but his grappling is pretty dog shit. I think Colby Covington at this stage in his career wants easy, winnable fights, and this is one of those, in my opinion. And I think with Colby's star power, this is going to be on a pay-per-view card, and I think this is what's next for Daniel Rodriguez. Next up, we've got Kevin Holland taking on Jake Matthews. Somehow Kevin Holland is still ranked inside the top 15 despite losing to Daniel Rodriguez. But Jake Matthews deserves a jump up. He deserves a crack at someone in the rankings. He's on a 3-fight win streak right now. And I think a fight between him and Kevin Holland makes sense. Kevin Holland should have to defend his spot. And I think Jake Matthews is the perfect opponent for that, because I think he's earned a shot at somebody in the rankings. Moving on, we have got a fight that is pretty much guaranteed to happen next, in my opinion. Unk versus Unk. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson taking on Muslim Salakov. Muslim Salakov called out Stephen Wonderboy Thompson after he knocked out Carlos Leal brutally in the first round. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is still in the rankings. He is coming off that loss to Gabriel Bonfirm, but like I said earlier, I actually thought Stephen Wonderboy Thompson won that matchup. This is just a fun fight stylistically. Both guys are fun strikers. Muslim Salakov does have that momentum on his side right now. There is a combined age between both guys of about 690 years of age between the both of them. I think it would just be a fun striking matchup. I'd maybe pick Muslim Salakov to win this just with momentum right now, but Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, in terms of just striking, yes, he's got a bit slower and he can take shots as well, but he is still a tricky guy to work out on the feet. This would just be a fun matchup and would be like a good co-main event to a crowded fight night. Next up, we've got Gilbert Burns versus Michael Chiesa. I'm going to be honest, this matchup is kind of shit. I didn't know what to do with Gilbert Burns. I think Gilbert Burns should retire. He's taken a lot of damage throughout of his career. He's on a crazy losing streak right now. I think give him a layup for his retirement fight in Michael Chiesa, another well-known guy in the UFC who is on a 3-fight win streak as well, let's not forget. But I think this is a very winnable matchup for Gilbert Burns. I think he absolutely beats the piss out of Michael Chiesa in there. I think he puts him on a fucking t-shirt. I really don't know what else to do with Gilbert Burns. This is probably like the worst matchup in the video. You can let me know your opinions in the comments below though. What would you do with Gilbert Burns? Next up, we've got Shavkat Rakmanov taking on Joaquin Buckley. Shavkat Rakmanov has said that he's going to be waiting for a title fight. What's with the entitlement right now with everybody in the UFC? I don't fucking get it. You're not getting a title fight. You fight once every fucking decade. I actually don't get the Shavkat Rakmanov hype, to be honest. I don't get why people are so obsessed with this guy. I think he's crazily overrated. I don't get the hype behind him. I think you do him versus Joaquin Buckley though when he comes back. I think this is a really fun matchup. Shavkat cannot just walk right back into a title fight. The division has moved on. He is still ranked number 3 though. Joaquin Buckley, yes, is coming off that loss over Kamaru Usman, but I just think stylistically this is a really fun fight. Could be a crowded arena main event. Could be a feature fight on a pay-per-view card. It's a big fight. Stylistically a really fun one. I don't think Shavkat Rakmanov will have the success in the grappling against Joaquin Buckley like Usman had, because him and Usman both shoot takedowns and wrestle very differently. So I think this would be a really competitive matchup on the feet. And I'm going to be honest, I think Joaquin Buckley beats Shavkat Rakmanov. I just think he beats him up on the feet. I don't think Shavkat will be able to take Joaquin Buckley down. And I think on the feet, Shavkat Rakmanov is there to be hit. and Joaquin Buckley hits like a fucking truck. I think this stylistically is a really fun matchup, a good way to gauge where is Shavkat Rakmanov at in his career right now, because he is very inactive and he is coming off a big injury. So I think this is the perfect fight for Shavkat to come back to. Next up, we have got the undefeated prospect Michael Morales taking on a headshot dead Leon Edwards. Yo, I haven't forgiven Leon for that last performance. I spent 600 Great British pounds to go to that last UFC Fight Night card. And that was one of the worst performances I've ever fucking had the disprivilege of seeing him against Sean Brady. That was absolute dog shit. Michael Morales, on the other hand, coming off a really good performance over Gilbert Burns, absolutely smoked him with ease. This makes a lot of sense right now. Michael Morales, undefeated, looking to push on into title contention. Leon Edwards on a 2-fight losing streak right now. If he can beat the undefeated prospect in Michael Morales, he shows that he still has it and still is a title challenger. If Michael Morales is able to beat Leon Edwards, that shows that he's just beat a former UFC world champion and he is also at the championship level. If this is a 3-round fight, I'm picking Michael Morales. If it's a 5-round fight, I think that gives Leon more of a chance, but Leon looks so dog shit in his last fight. But then again, Michael Morales isn't Sean Brady. So who knows? I think it's an interesting matchup and definitely one that should be booked next. Speaking of Sean Brady, this is the fight to make next. Him versus Ian Garry, #1 contender fight, 5-round co-main event to a pay-per-view card, or 5-round main event in a Fight Night crowded arena. This fight makes sense. Now, you could do Sean Brady versus Shavkat. I don't know when Shavkat's coming back. Ian Garry's ready to go. Sean Brady's ready to go. Make that fight happen. And I think this is just an interesting matchup. You've got the grappling of Sean Brady, one of the best grapplers right now in the welterweight division, in my opinion. You've got Ian Garry, who a lot of people just view as a striker, but in my opinion, is just a really good, well-rounded mixed martial artist. I know people don't like Ian Garry, and it's kind of like the in thing to do now to hate on him, but the guy just is good. The guy is good, and I think stylistically this will be a fun one. Can Ian Garry keep this fight standing? Because if he does, I think he beats up Sean Brady on the feet pretty easy. Can Sean Brady get Ian Garry down to the mat? If he can, I think Ian Garry's in a lot of problems if this fight hits the mat, because Sean Brady's jiu-jitsu is next level. I just think it's a stylistic, fun matchup. Both guys are ready to go. Let's get some movement in the division. Let's see who's next after Islam fights JDM. Book Ian Garry versus Sean Brady. Moving on, we've got another #1 contender fight. Belal Muhammad taking on Kamaru Usman. This fight needs to happen next. The bad blood's there. We've been wanting this fight for a very long time. Now's the perfect time to make it. Usman's coming off a win. Belal Muhammad just lost the belt. 5-round co-main event to that MSG card, which is going to be headlined by JDM versus Islam Makashev. I think this is going to be a fun fight as well, because I think both guys grappling will be cancelled out by one another, and I think on the feet this will just be a fun matchup. The bad blood's there, the back and forth. I think the build-up will be fun. Hopefully they release the podcast between Usman versus Belal Muhammad. Just make this fight. It's there to be made now. It makes sense. If Usman can beat Belal Muhammad, he should fight for the title. If Belal Muhammad beats Kamaru Usman, then whoever wins out of Sean Brady, Ian Garry should go on to fight for the title, in my opinion. It's just a fun fight to make. Both guys are big names. I know people like to shit on Belal Muhammad. He's coming off one of the fights of the year to JDM. Usman's back in the win column after beating Joaquin Buckley. Let's not fuck about. Let's book the obvious matchup. Belal Usman 5-round co-main event at MSG. Belal Muhammad will beat Kamaru Usman though. And finally, we'll just quickly cover this matchup. JDM versus Islam Makashev. We know what's happening. Islam is moving up. He's vacated his lightweight title. I think Islam's going to beat JDM, and I think when Islam beats JDM, he is the greatest UFC fighter of all time. He is the GOAT of MMA once he beats JDM. Look, I know people are saying JDM's a bigger, better Dustin Poirier. Look what Dustin Poirier done to Islam. Islam had staff in that matchup, let's not forget that. He also finished Dustin Poirier as well. Look, I understand why people are picking JDM. He's a good counter grappler, and on the feet, I think there's a big disadvantage for Islam there. Yes, Islam's a pretty decent kickboxer, but on the feet, he is in serious trouble in there with JDM. And JDM does have really good scrambling ability, but I think that's where JDM will get caught. I think Islam will secure the takedown in JDM while JDM is desperate to get up and scramble. That's where I think Islam Makashev will lock up a choke on JDM, and I think he submits JDM inside 3 rounds. But that is how I think the UFC should book the welterweight division. That's how you fix this division. Also, Carlos Prates isn't in the video because he's already booked against Jeff Neal. So let me know what matchups you would make in the comments below. Who do you think would win these matchups? And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you all again in the next one.